out to me because you see any other law enforcement officers doing this. Ultimately, Officer Bagley's version of events just doesn't add up to the available footage. So the question is, why lie? Allegedly, he fails to mention that the man in the red hat was the one that alerted him to the holster. He fails to mention that he had a conversation with the man in the red hat before going to the multi-sensor booth. And it is interesting that they get there and conveniently his body camera just stops running. He says the battery died, but the camera had only been running for 27 minutes, and these body cameras are supposed to last around 10 hours.
Seems a little suspicious. You were already taking orders from him of the holster. You just didn't mention that throughout your testimony at all. Why are we seemingly providing coverage for a rookie? Farnsworth, Officer Bagley, there seems to be an immediate understanding that this Alan Robertson character, who shall not be named, is calling the shots. It says that he's like in command of the post-assassination operation. And you know what's funny about that? I started looking at him, and that is actually what he did, but in the military. You see, Alan Robertson is actually a United States Marine. And according to his LinkedIn, he was the marksmanship instructor for the Marines from 2009 to 2014 at Camp Pendleton, which is in California. It's a Marine base. He's been deployed in combat in Afghanistan. He was also deployed in humanitarian work in Japan for the Marines before he arrived into Utah. You know how I'm feeling right now about the Marines getting involved in humanitarian work overseas. But he was also a police officer just before going to Utah in San Bernardino, California. But something happened. It was very short before he gets moved out to Utah. Something happened. We don't know what happened, but we believe something did, because there was an entry made for him on the Brady List website. So if you've never heard of the Brady List website, it's a database of law enforcement officers who have a documented history of misconduct, dishonesty, or integrity violations. And the records are kept actually by prosecutors so that they can then share them with defense attorneys during a criminal trial. The reason is because the Brady List deals with an officer's credibility as a witness. It indicates that there's internal investigators or like prosecutors are flagging an incident which involves dishonesty, perhaps falsifying a police report, a policy violation that was severe enough that the defense now has a constitutional right to know that this officer was involved in something that's not good, that puts his credibility in the spotlight. And so he has an entry, so to speak, on Brady List website, and we looked, and I thought, well, maybe there's an entry for every officer in the land, and I read their about section, I searched online, and said, nope, that's not what they do. But in particular, most of the people who are on this website, they have a link to what their, if you want to call them, offenses are, what they were involved in that earned them to be mentioned on the Brady List website. Alan Robertson and every police officer that is at San Bernardino,
hello, welcome to the live,
tells us that the absence of disclosed material is affected by institutional limitations, and then it says San Bernardino Police Department is not in compliance with its Brady disclosure obligations. So every officer that is working at San Bernardino that has an entry on this website, there are no details that are provided. And when you click, what does it mean to not be in compliance? And it sounds like they can just give you the runaround if they want and say, we are in compliance with the Brady stuff, but maybe it's an ongoing investigation. You can click through and look at this yourself. Alan E. Robertson, my assumption is he has an entry and they're not able to get details on it. Obviously, you guys also know there's a lot of corruption in the San Bernardino California Police Department. And so we are looking for information to be able to verify whether or not there was an incident involving Alan E. Robertson in California, which earned him an entry on the Brady List website. Again, we are not too familiar with this website, but we have done our basic due diligence here, and we can definitively state that there is no officer in San Bernardino that has any like documented files attached. So that seems like they are correct, that they are not complying or being totally open with ongoing investigations. Is there a reason he was moved from San Bernardino to Utah? We're obviously going to turn to Californians and to ask you if you know anything also people that were in the Marines and you served alongside this Alan Edward Robertson. It could be a reason people are reluctant to name him if he had been involved in falsifying testimony. I'm not saying he was, but I'm saying that is the purpose of Brady List. If he had been involved in doing
EQ Bank's business account is built to help you make bank, so you can keep running what really matters.
translates as sniffer dog. I have a feeling this text is being translated from French. Thanks for your great work. Guys, obviously it's French. Pooch! Pooch! French people always make things sound a little bit more pretentious. And I looked it up, and sure enough, the way that they describe a canine, a detective dog, would be a renifleur, which literally translates into a sniffer pooch. It's like the most unbelievable thing. I'm deeply upset by this. I promise you, Brigitte, you're still missing those days the Egyptian planes were in America. We still cannot track Brigitte. If I find out Brigitte authored those messages, there's going to be hell to pay. Anyway, moving on from that, we named this episode Silence of the Lance because we came across some very interesting information about him and interesting tidbits that the 4K influencers, the HD courtroom influencers, actually didn't share with the public about what they saw. That's interesting. Welcome back to Candace. Okay, so first things first, it has come to my attention that an individual who I had literally never heard of in my life went onto Joe Rogan signaling that I'm scared to debate him regarding the Charlie Kirk case and that he's offered me $300K to do so. Just, the backstory leading up to this moment is that the host of the Whatever podcast, who I do know, a guy named Brian Atlas, reached out to my PR guy Mitchell with an offer of $50K for me to debate this person. And then he upped the amount, I think, to $150K initially. I immediately dismissed it. I genuinely had never heard of the name Andrew Wilson before. And my assumption was that this was a PR ploy, a move for some young influencer that was coming up through the ranks and had a little bit of money to spend to get their name out there. It's almost like, and people do this, you try to buy an ad for yourself. It's an industry strategy to get your name out there. Of course, the Charlie Kirk case was not some gimmick to me. We have not been asking for money, just a public discussion with Turning Point USA, one of their affiliates regarding the case, whether that be Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, Erica Kirk, Yankin Bank Frank, somebody who was there on the scene that day. We've offered them the floor repeatedly. Now, what I had not appreciated until people began sending me clips of this Andrew Wilson guy following his sit down on Joe Rogan is that he is sort of affiliated with Turning Point USA, another person in their orbit that they're boosting, so much so that he's apparently hugging Erica Kirk at Turning Point USA headquarters. I will let you take a listen to what he told Joe Rogan during their sit down. Take a listen.
We offered, Candace Owens offered $300,000 to do a debate. We'll give you $300,000.
What is her position? What does she think happened?
She thinks that Israel worked in conjunction with TPUSA and Erica Kirk to murder Charlie.
Based on what?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Nobody actually knows. She's never presented a single shred of evidence thus far that Israel ever worked to murder Kirk, that Erica Kirk certainly didn't. In fact, her position for the longest time was if Erica Kirk comes out and tells me to stop this, to stop the conspiracy on this, I will. So Erica did. She went out publicly and she was like, enough. You're just causing more problems than good here. This investigation's going on. And then suddenly Erica's now part of the conspiracy. By the next day, she's trying to cover it up. She's part of the conspiracy too. When I went to the TPUSA HQ, and I talked to Erica briefly while I was there. The first thing I did was what I think every normal, moral human being would ever do. I gave her a hug. And I told her how god-awful sorry I was that happened to her. Can you even imagine how that got to feel for her? Especially now that she has tens of thousands of people accusing her of murdering and conspiring to murder and then cover up what happened to her own life. I mean, that's like mind-boggling psychological torture on a level that I've never seen.
Yeah, in hindsight is 2020, but given the reaction, I think it probably would have been better for her to like lay low for a little while.
1000%.
The going out with the sparklers was not a great idea. Like all that was not a great idea because it just seemed insane.
Thank you, Joe Rogan, for saying that. People were going, yeah, okay. Now I'm interested because first of all, I wasn't expecting Andrew Wilson to look like that. I understand, I guess, perhaps could probably guess how you magically fell into money to be running around offering $300K for a conversation. And I also now understand, having looked into it, why Blake Neff and Andrew Colbert seem to be boosting you on X. Now, for everyone who was like me and legitimately did not know who this man was 5 minutes ago, Andrew Wilson apparently had a presence in the manosphere debating feminists, and that would explain why he was appearing on the Whatever podcast, which regularly features these sorts of debates. I've been on the Whatever podcast and I've done these debates, so has Charlie Kirk. But now, of course, for, I guess, either the right price or a chance at staying or being in the limelight, he's willing to sort of flip his position and kind of present himself as a feminist right there, tasked with defending Erica Kirk taking over her late husband's company, a $250 million organization, while the kids are back home with no parents as she travels the country. Now, he's sympathetic to those positions. Now, Andrew Wilson looks
Everybody, get on the floor, do your thing, whatever.
well, his ex-profile pic is of him smoking a cig, because that's like, 50-year-old man doing this is crazy. That's his brand or something. He's like Timu Danny Zuko from Greece, but with a potty mouth, to be sure. Greece was a clean movie, Born to Hand Jive. I actually really liked it. He chain smokes throughout debates and he denigrates people so that people know just how like fresh to death he is. I really shudder at this prospect. Well, here's my counteroffer. Now that I know that Turning Point's in the orbit, right? Andrew Wilson currently trending on X, by the way, for having lied to Joe Rogan throughout this entire interview. This obviously backfired. The comments are amazing, making fun of him and at nobody buying the Erica Kirk slop, the Christian slop, trying to emote to make us feel like anything that's happened to Charlie Kirk's assassination makes sense, or that we should feel bad for caring and investigating. But anyway, he's trending because he similarly in this discussion with Joe Rogan lied in relation not just to me, but tried to like pretend that I'm somehow tangential to the leftist Un-F America tour. I've never so much as spoken to them, but then he also lied about them. He's accusing them of like laundering money and doing this on Joe Rogan's platform, absent any fact check. He just lies. I guess that's what we're at right now. Turning Point just needs people that are willing to lie. Nonetheless, like I said, I have a counter offer. He says 300K. Let's make it 500K, right? I just have the hunch, this feeling, gut instinct that you're maybe being backed by Turning Point USA or their affiliates in this debate request. It's just, you don't strike me as someone that has 300K lying around for conversation. I mean, not without smoking habit in today's economy, right? And given the fact that Turning Point USA has raised $40 million in one night off of Charlie's blood, literally encasing his bloody microphone at a fundraiser event, but his grieving widow could be captured by the camera sitting next to it, I think 500K feels more appropriate. They want to invest in you, you're their guy, tell them that's what it costs. That's 500K between old friends, right? Also, my second counter offer position point that I'd like you to meet is I'm 7 months pregnant, so if you fancy a debate face to face, you're gonna have to travel to me. It's common decency. No time limit in the debates, don't worry, it will be live. We will bring up any documents or evidence that you mention as a part of this case. We have a team, so you can send links live. We are happy to pause and allow you to search for any evidence that you reference if the team can't find it for some reason. No tricks, as long as you want, like I said, live, so anybody could see if we were trying to play tricks. As a 2A point here, you're not going to be chain smoking around me, tough guy. okay? You're just gonna have to bring yourself and leave your cigs at home. And this is actually, I would say, the most important part for me. This is what has to happen. Third part here. Either Blake Neff or Andrew Colbeck or Erica Kirk must publicly claim you first, meaning they must say that they are sending you in to debate on their behalf regarding the Charlie Kirk case. Right? No worming away after the fact. You don't get to go, oh, we don't really know this guy, whatever. They're boosting you. You're at the headquarters teaching people how to debate. I gotta tell you, from the outside, it kind of looks like Turning Point USA scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for influencers. And they've now arrived at people who are just amoral, who will lie about what people have said and intentionally misrepresent their positions, and who I would say are not reminiscent of the honest debate strategy and style that was once employed by their company founder. I mean, Charlie Kirk's brand was clean and respectable. Here's Andrew Wilson, who, I'm not kidding, Turning Point USA says they welcomed him to teach others how to debate. Here's him debating a feminist leftist. Her name also happens to be Charlie. Take a listen.
Well, I'll try to rephrase this. I'm gonna reframe, and I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. I will never be able to convince you of my worldview.
You won't.
I know. But the reason is not because I'm not a great orator, or I don't make good points, or I haven't said things which should be compelling to a person. But Charlie, I just think honestly you're too fucking stupid to understand them.
So Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you
Under
you lick sniz.
under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What is that?
You're a dyke. Don't talk about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby.
What did I just say?
Your
Dyke?
wife with the
Sorry, doll. I'm sorry, Dyke. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking?
Do the men that you try to
Do the women that you try
show
to?
your hatred against,
Do the
do
women
they,
that
like,
you try
listen
to?
that they shouldn't,
You know,
like,
Charlie, did I
pursue
bring
women? Do they know
Charlie,
that
did I
your
bring
wife
your
is 5
family?
years older?
Did I bring any of your
You
family?
Stupid.
Did I say anything about your family being stupid, Charlie?
You could.
It's
You could
because
go
I'm
for it.
better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed and you know that the traditional values that you try to sell people on
Okay.
are bullshit because
Let's
you
go
are not
through
a
it.
traditional man.
Chuck, let's go through it.
You are not a traditional
Let's
man.
go through it, Chuck. Tell me what I'm doing, which is immoral.
Probably should have bleeped out a little bit more in that clip. I don't even know what some of those words mean, but that's him in a nutshell. Just kind of curses and smokes cigarettes and tries to denigrate people. And again, just to give you guys the proof here, Andrew Colbeck claims they did pay him, but only to come and teach their students how to debate. Here's his tweet. He wrote, nope, he was paid for 1 day of the debate training for our students and campus debate team. He's not quote unquote being paid, but seeing how much they seem to hate that idea, maybe we should see if we can work something out. LOL. Oh, LOL. Great. I think we should work something out. I do. And Blake Neff sharing clips of him on the Joe Rogan show. Does a great job on Joe Rogan dissecting several of the conspiracy theories around Charlie's death and answering Rogan's questions about them. Worth the watch. Okay. So yeah, that's my counteroffer. I want Turning Point USA on record, just to recap, saying that you are representing them in this debate. You know, that they're not going to shirk responsibility and pretend that, oh, no, really, we just paid him 1 time. Yeah, he's going in there, and you want him to debate on our behalf. You will also have to come to me, to another point 2A. Obviously, you will not be chain smoking around me, and $500K, because they can afford it. We'll leave it at that. Those are my counter terms. Now back to what I actually think about this case. It's just always going to be a running joke. Candace never has any evidence. I just find that to be amazing. It's just no one has presented more evidence. Not even the prosecution has presented more evidence than the Candace show. But we'll just keep doing what we do. Now I have been very clear from the beginning that on the basis of evidence presented, I do not believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by a lone gunman. I do not believe that any weapon was fired from Low C rooftop. I find the most compelling theory on the basis of what I observed with my eyes. The odd trajectory of his shirt, which is the first to move. It moves upward and across his chest. The immediate breaking of his necklace before Charlie is impacted. and moves upward. The frankly unacceptable idea that Charlie got hit from the front with 2,000 pounds of force, but miraculously didn't go backwards. He didn't fall backwards. No, he just went up and then to the side. And then Dan Flood continues him, pushes him over to the side in that same motion. 2,000 pounds of force. Okay. The double miracle, by the way, because also that not only did that force not hit him, or that 30-06 bullet didn't throw him backwards, but that bullet also didn't even go through. It didn't almost decapitate him, which is what would have been expected. It was just this little perfect wound on the side of his neck. Then there are the black shards all over the floor of the SUV, which transported him to the hospital, followed by the FBI's unusual rush to have that SUV immediately cleaned and resold. No interest in holding that in evidence, which is typical. Also, the mysteriously purged 911 call where someone is allegedly heard saying, "Get that off of him." I routinely and intentionally disobey that Orwellian instruction, as George Orwell authored in his dystopian novel, which is becoming our reality, 1984, quote, "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Their final, most essential command is to tell the public, reject the evidence of your eyes and ears." Yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna disobey the party commands. No matter how many influencers try to tell us that our eyes and our ears are being overwhelmed, I still feel pretty underwhelmed. Okay, as an example of this instruction routinely playing out, we've covered Benny Johnson, one of the courtroom influencers who Erica personally invited to attend the preliminary hearing. He said this on his show yesterday.
Like, say what you will about Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson. We have Tyler Robinson's text messages. We have interviews with Tyler Robinson's family members. I know there's a lot. I know blood runs very hot on that issue. It does for me too. But we have so much evidence. It's demonstrable and empirical. You can see it, it's been confirmed through the devices, it's been published, and they have so much more. You've seen maybe like 1% or 2% of the evidence that's actually physically available.
We did not see this, not seen anything from his parents. We have not seen, we keep being told that we see it. We keep being told that it's there. It wasn't even so much as mentioned in the preliminary hearing. What are we talking about? Empirical. Empirical evidence, it's demonstrable, it's overwhelming. Well, I'll tell you what is actually empirical and is interesting, and interestingly enough, it's something that the influencers left out about the 4K footage that they were shown. I've made it clear that I believe the person who is walking up the stairs in the maroon shirt is not Tyler Robinson. The person who was captured on TMZ's cameras in the maroon shirt is not Tyler Robinson. I still believe what I reported back in October of last year, which is that Tyler Robinson never stepped foot onto UVU campus. Okay, that claim has not been debunked. Now, although, as I said back then, I learned that he was around campus on that day. I don't know if that means he was driving people around. It's certainly plausible, but I don't think he was either person who walked up the staircase on that day. And I believe those are two different people that we're seeing. The maroon, and then later in the day in the black, I think those are two different individuals. And to that point, by the way, of interest is that the UVU students have confirmed to me that there are no cameras outside of the parking garage. There's absolutely no reason for him to walk up through the parking garage. If you look at the layout, it's almost as if the people wanted to be captured by the cameras. If he had just, everybody knows if you go into a parking garage, there's gonna be cameras. If he had just walked outside of the garage and went around, there would have been no way for the cameras to capture him. I'm gonna show you that on a map here, okay? The map of the actual route that he took there is he just decided to go through this parking garage. Decided to go through the parking garage. Here's the route he could have taken with the same effect, just stayed on the street, never would have been captured. Again, it makes entirely no sense outside of wanting the cameras to see him. Anyway, what I can state emphatically is that if there is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did this crime, they're sticking to that. If it's just so overwhelming that he did this crime, then we can state that there is objectively more overwhelming evidence that Lance Twiggs did this crime. Okay? Because Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the towel. Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the rifle. And to be clear, Lance Twiggs' DNA was not as degraded as Tyler Robinson's DNA was on Tyler's rifle. It's Tyler's rifle, but Lance's DNA is more prominent. How does it happen? What is Lance doing with the gun? Did Lance go hunting with his gun or something? We learned that the Dremel that was used to carve the bullets belonged to Lance Twiggs. So if there's overwhelming evidence for one, there's more overwhelming evidence for Lance Twiggs. That's what I would assert, right? And when we did background checks and spoke to people's family members, we learned and spoke to people's schoolmates. We learned that Tyler is described as a quiet kid, a kind kid. Lance is described in opposite terms.
You know what?
The multitude of anger and behavioral issues in his youth, so much so that he had to be
Let me just read some what you there.
living with other family members, living with other people.
You see Godfrey?
I mean, like meant to go live with other relatives who in the end also kicked him out of their home as well.
Hold on.
Of his behavioral issues.
Hello.
When your own family members are describing you as into dark internet stuff, saying that you've had drug overdoses, allegedly, this is the kind of stuff that, in my opinion, might get you caught up with the feds. And while it's not considered LGBTQ, one of the big narratives that has been pushed around here, absolutely proof, Lance is the one that was submerged in the culture. Remember, he had a persona named Luna, which is an avatar for your personality. We should discuss that more, right? Lance's persona named Luna. It's actually Loona. I had received this email about Luna. The person wrote, "Dear Candace, quote, I wanted to share some context about a character named Luna from the animated series Hell of a Boss. Luna is a very popular character. Fandom. She is an anthropomorphic hellhound who normally has a wolf-like appearance, but she also disguise herself in a human form and switch back to her hellhound.
jelly for me when you come up
A
from the
significant part of her character revolves around her
One jelly sweetie, one sweetie.
people. She is often portrayed as guarded, socially awkward, and emotionally withdrawn. She has trouble making friends, tends to and often hides insecurity behind sarcasm, anger, or an unfriendly attitude. Over the course of the series, some of her storylines.
So by 5 minutes time, when you reach out to the story, you call me.
Rejection and her difficulty expressing affection or allowing herself to become emotionally close to people. Because of both her wolf-like design and her personality, Luna has become especially recognizable and popular within the furry fandom and online animation communities. She appears frequently in fan art, cosplay, memes, and other fan-created content. So this was interesting to me because I, a long time ago, very long time ago, back in October, told you that, among other things that I learned about the Robinson family, of course, this whole lie that Matt Robinson believed his son was guilty, Matt Robinson, when he went back to the apartment that Tyler Robinson shared with Lance, discovered that a bed that was not in his son's room, a dog bed, was put into his son's room. His suspicion was that the feds had staged that room. Well, if you're telling me that it's Lance that has a persona that happens to be a hellhound, it would make more sense that this would be Lance's bed. Lance's big dog bed, that Lance was embodying this persona. And when we looked further into Luna and this hellhound demon dog, that's literally what it is, a demon dog, we learned that the demon dog wears a pentagram as a necklace. And the series premise in and of itself is sort of amazing. This is what it says on Wikipedia. Okay? The series follows the employees of IMP, immediate murder professionals, and
in a world where innocent eyes fall prey to a digital menace,
A hidden threat lies in the shadows, lurking in your child's vision. Fear not, there's light ahead. Don't let the blur, aka myopia, obscure your child's future. Join the fight against childhood myopia. Get your child's eyes checked today.
Character in their life. This can be separate, it can be sexual, it can be whatever. I find the premise of Luna to be compelling. Lance Twiggs, why wasn't Lance Twiggs arrested, actually? Lance Twiggs' alibi, just to remind you, for September 10th is, I was sleeping. Has anyone prodded that narrative? The feds prodded that narrative? Have they confirmed that he was just, sleeping? The biggest assassination since JFK? Feels like something you could confirm, you could check. Maybe some cameras, gamma requests some cameras to see if he was moving around that day, see if his phone had activity. That's pretty easy. Isn't it at least feasible that he wasn't? Plausible that he wasn't? Is it not possible that the note that was handwritten, which Lance claims he found under his keyboard and then took a picture of it, but then burned the note to hide the evidence? I'm sorry, what? You burned the note to hide the evidence after taking a picture of it, which does not hide the evidence? Is it possible that Lance just wrote the note and burned it because we were not going to find Tyler Robinson's fingerprints on that note? Then there's this, okay? Like I said, I've been convinced since the very beginning that those are two separate people that emerge on campus in the stairwell, one wearing a maroon shirt, the other one in a black shirt at a later point. Now, this is by no means a perfect science, but the person in the maroon shirt appears to be left-handed, or at least exceedingly ambidextrous, because when he is walking down the steps, what the influencers were shown in 4K is actually he's on his phone, and he seems to be either completing a message, maybe just marking time, who knows, but he's holding his phone in his left hand before he slips his phone into his left pocket. So I want you to watch that here. In the footage that we saw, it was very blurry, and I'm going to show you that blurry footage, but that is what I'm telling you. It is a phone that he is holding and slipping into his pocket. You can play this. Okay? That's a phone. Okay? And then he slips that phone into his pocket. That's what they were shown in 4K. And they didn't mention that. Might be relevant. Maybe they didn't notice. Maybe their brain didn't realize, oh wait, that's left-handed. Now, I don't know people who are right-handed who text or deal with their left hand or use their left pocket at all. These are things you don't think about because it's like second nature to you. Now, Tyler Robinson is definitively not left-handed. It's actually spelled out in his legal filings, but if you conduct your own investigation into all of the many social media photos that are posted from the time he was a kid all through his young adulthood, he's right-handed.
May I come downstairs now? You do what there?
Let's just check and see about
May I
that.
come?
It's the exact opposite across various public photos. Here's the left-handed, ambidextrous. We can go through some of the strong evidence of that. This is Lance on a snowboard. Now, sometimes people do it on the opposite leg, but we can show you this clip. You will see that when he falls, he even falls onto his left hand. Okay? When you're catching yourself, you're going to go dominant on the right side. Recently, he was photographed down in Texas pumping gas. He is pumping with his left hand. There's also selfie photos of him on the internet. He is taking the selfies with his left hand. And most compelling is this video playing the piano.
God, I can't bother.
Play on this video that his watch is affixed to his right hand. Now, the proper way that you wear a watch is to fix the watch to the opposite of your dominant hand. The reason for that is because you can use it less. So you're trying to keep it so you're not scraping and writing.
Just imagine. Oh God, we can't bother. We can't bother to go down the stage to a judge me. Huh? Go downstairs and judgment, Go downstairs and judgment, Bishop. Oh God.
Left.
Wait.
To get started, that's left hand dominance. Perhaps in
It's really about
Find that.
yeah.
little phone pocket thing, which the feds wanted to.
Good God, help
the
me.
public couldn't see that. It's his phone. He's on his phone.
What the judgment has started up.
It's just interesting that the feds instantly found that when they met with Lance, it wasn't interested, like, no, he's not an accomplice. There's no way. They didn't even cross their minds. In fact, what they decided to do after they questioned Lance for a few hours is they offered him a ride back home. That's a fact. He was then dropped off by police at his parents' residence. The feds then moved him and his father into a safe house. The feds paid for them to live somewhere unknown to the general public. All of that just strikes me as remarkably odd. It's just, this person would have access to everything that was Tyler Robinson's. I'd love to know exactly how his hair was styled when all this went down. Now, just some things that you should know that I'm happy to share with you as we start moving in on this and considering this plausibility is that Lance moved in to that apartment, which is owned by his family, in July of 2022. He initially found two roommates that were brothers. Their names were Caleb and Bradley. One of them was in the military. That's Bradley. Caleb left a year later, and in 2023, Tyler Robinson took Caleb's place. So in August of 2023, Tyler Robinson begins living there. So it was just Bradley, the military guy, Lance, and Tyler Robinson living as roommates until November of 2024. So at the end of 2024, Bradley, the military guy, moved out, citing a military obligation. This left just Tyler and Lance living in that apartment alone at the beginning of 2025. Those are just some more facts that I would like to just introduce into the public domain that could be of interest. So yeah, that is my position. These are the things that I am looking into. I have always suspected, and even more so after the preliminary hearing, that Lance could have been a federal asset who got mixed up in something in his online communities. Allegedly, that's my perspective. I think while it's illegal, we'll be right back after a break. All right, you guys, do you feel like you're working harder than ever but still falling behind every month? Between grocery prices, bills, and credit card debt growing, it can feel impossible to get ahead. Minimum payments aren't designed to get you out of debt. They're designed to actually keep you stuck. But PDS Debt can help. They can reduce up to half of what you owe on credit cards, personal loans, and medical bills, and it starts with a free 30-second assessment at pdsdebt.com/Candace. Stop juggling multiple payments and get one lower monthly payment. The savings begin the day that you complete the quick assessment. If you're carrying any balance on your credit cards, it's costing you money every single day. There's no minimum credit score that's required. PDS Debt is the top-rated company in the industry with thousands of 5-star reviews and A+ rating on the BBB. So get your free 30-second personalized assessment today at pdsdebt.com/Candace. Again, that's pdsdebt.com/Candace. I have to tell you guys about Mimi Skincare. You know I love them. They make the best tallow skincare products I've ever used. Their tallow comes from grass-fed, grass-finished cattle raised on a Montana farm, and in a world where so many companies hide where their ingredients are coming from, that really matters. Everyone seems to be talking about tallow these days, but not all tallow is created equally. Mimi has focused on sourcing exceptional ingredients and creating products that people genuinely love to use. That's why I've been using Mimi's Sunshine Tallow Cream and their Buzzin' Tallow Balm. The Sunshine Tallow Cream has become one of Mimi's most popular products. It's rich, nourishing, and made with tallow, aloe vera, avocado oil, and shea butter to deeply moisturize the skin while it's feeling lightweight and comfortable. It leaves your skin looking soft, hydrated, and healthy without that greasy feeling. When my skin needs a little extra support, I reach for the Buzzin' Tallow Balm. It's a richer formula that helps lock in moisture and leave skin feeling deeply nourished and cared for. What I appreciate most is that these products are rooted in simplicity, high-quality ingredients, American sourcing, American manufacturing, and skincare that simply works. So if you've been curious about tallow skincare, now is the perfect time to try it. Visit mimiskincare.com to save an additional 10% off your order with promo code Candace10 at checkout. Again, that's mimiskincare.com, a promo code Candace10 at checkout. Reject the evidence of your own eyes and ears was the party's final and most crucial instruction. Is playing out right now on X in the most bizarre way. I cannot with these Zionists. It's unbelievable how far they take these things. Obviously, gas prices and grocery prices are up. I mean, if you've just, I don't know, just gone outside, been around, this is not something that you can deny, and you certainly are not going to be able to present charts and tell people, no, you're living amazing. Everybody is suffering at the pump. Everybody is suffering when they head to the grocery store. Meat is more expensive. I don't even know why you would try to claim otherwise, outside of just thinking people are really stupid and you can embark on an influence campaign to make people not believe the evidence of their own eyes and ears, right? So Matt Walsh tweets something that is obviously true. He tweets this, grocery prices are insane. They're still rising. Addressing this problem should be the number one priority of every elected leader. End the stupid foreign wars and focus on this issue. It's one of the main reasons socialists are gaining power. Fact. Okay? Like, duh. And we recognize that. We have just unlimited money when it comes to going to war, unlimited money when it comes to Ukraine, billions to Israel. We can just go, woo, let's go to the Hormuz Strait. And then when you wonder if we're going to get any tax rebate, no, we don't have anybody. Look at our prices around here. Nothing is getting better. And people are rightfully upset about that. So obviously the issue is that he mentioned the foreign wars, and the neocons instantly had to get to work and explain this is not true. And actually their argument is that people just need to focus on making home-cooked meals. They need to stop eating out and recognize that you're just spoiled. If you are a person who thinks that their things are not affordable, it's because you're spoiled. We need our wars, but you're spoiled. Joel Berry, who I don't even know what this guy did or ever did for the Babylon Bee, he writes this. He writes, last night, my wife made homemade burritos for our family of 8, and it cost less than $20 total for everyone. I'm beginning to think the affordability crisis is really an I don't know how to cook crisis. Like, I don't believe anything he's saying there. I cook, and I am amazed at how much like chicken is costing at the grocery store. I'm making rice. I'm not like, getting out there and buying something that's super duper expensive. Yes, I do. I will say on the beef, I always support at the farmer's market, which is, I'm obviously paying more because I want to support farmers. But I've noticed that things have gotten incrementally more expensive, and I should be able to support farmers. I should be able to do that, go to the farmer's market and buy that meat without feeling shamed because they claim, oh, the issue is that you can't cook. We can cook. You guys cannot be this out of touch with how people are living. So Matt responds to Joel and he says, one of the problems with this claim is that virtually no Republican was making, quote, the affordability crisis is fake arguments during the Biden years. It's extremely transparent to everyone that the unwillingness to acknowledge these obvious economic challenges is at least partially politically motivated. Yes, they want war, blood. He's right. He continues, the second problem is that no matter how thrifty your family might be and no matter how cheap your homemade burritos, the significant rise in grocery prices over the past 6 years and the fact that the rise is continuing, not stopping, and certainly not reversing is just a mathematical reality. It can't be denied as a fact. Grocery prices have gone up 30% or more this decade. I'm happy for you if your family is not significantly impacted by this problem, but it is real and it is a problem, and conservatives better come up with an answer that isn't just, quote, learn how to make cheap burritos or we are going to get absolutely crushed. That's not a reality. Yeah, I don't know how people outside of, again, just their general Zionist bloodthirst and needing to make it seem like it's not because they're constantly taking money and they're not parasites on our economy, how you could argue that. Like, go speak to people. Obviously, groceries have gotten incredibly expensive and they are continuing to get expensive. So whatever Trump promised has not been delivered. That's speaking plainly. What's really funny about this is that Matt obviously alludes to the fact that it just shows that you're a complete fraud because you weren't making these arguments, or you were at least acknowledging the affordability crisis when Biden and Kamala were in office. Sure enough, Joel himself, Joel Berry, complained about the grocery store prices when Kamala Harris was in office in 2024. You should never, ever lose sight of how fraudulent Zionists are. They just want more, okay? Here is what he actually tweeted in 2024. Kamala Harris tweets, "The campaign is about two different visions for our nation. Ours is focused on the future. Donald Trump is focused on the past. We are not going back." Joe Barry replied and said, "I'd like to go back to when there were no wars and I could afford groceries, please." Yeah, you're just like a partisan hack, Joel. You're a partisan hack. Now suddenly it's problematic when Matt Walsh says the same thing and keeps the same energy no matter who's in office, which is authentic. You're just gonna go, nope, sorry, we really just want that Hormuz Strait, and we gotta kill some Iranians, and so you need to learn to cook a burrito or something. And then I don't even know, he's just got blast from the past. Dan Crenshaw, who is gratefully out of office in Texas. No one has let down the public faster than Dan Crenshaw. He then leans in with this, like, the neocons that have taken over the Republican Party, it's just shocking for them to just try this on. He wrote this, "Just hearing about this dumb $20 burrito debate, so just thought I'd make the losers on social media angry before going to bed. Stop whining, get a job, eat ramen like the rest of us did in college on a budget with 4 roommates. The market doesn't care what you think. Something should cost. Only communists care. They set the prices, remember? Then everyone starves, remember? Are you a communist? Or are you an American adult male capable of handling his own SHIT?" Ooh, he's here. Actually, I was one of those people that was in college who was flat broke and eating ramen. Even that has gotten more expensive. Everything is more expensive. The idea that people are eating out because somehow it's a luxury. No, actually, when I was working 2 jobs, didn't have time to make meals out, I would then go down to McDonald's and hit up the dollar menu. You can't do that anymore. You can't get something for $1. The tax would be 6 cents. Like, it's so in my head. $1.06, I still get a double cheeseburger at McDonald's. So it wasn't really like a luxury item. It was just something quick to eat. They can't even do that anymore with fast food, and you're treating them like they're spoiled rotten because you need to have war. That's the reality. And of course, never one to be left behind. We know Beavis and Butthead, Blake Neff, chart, because that's how they're going to convince you guys. We have this chart that shows you that your groceries aren't expensive. I don't care if you're saying that you're living a reality or what your eyes and your ears and what your debit card is telling you. Blake Neff has a chart. He wrote this, Americans.
As soon as the curtains were opened and I saw a kid on stage, I was like, whoa, I can be just like them too. And then ever since then, I think I just had this love for opera that I feel like it just keeps growing. I honestly just think it's an experience to go to the opera. It feels like you're part of the story when you watch it. So it's not you just, oh, I'm gonna go to an opera for 3 hours. It's no, it feels like you're part of an opera for 3 hours. And I would really recommend going, even just to try it once. I think you won't just be going, I think you'll be going a lot more after your first time.
About how much things have shifted over the last decade. Again, I just don't know how they think this is going to be a winning message going into midterms. I have a feeling that Matt Walsh is going to be proven correct. What are they focused on? Oh, more Iranian propaganda, I suppose. And so it is deeply ironic that this is all happening on the same day, or this has actually been trending on Twitter for 2 days. But on the same today, Daily Wire released a trailer. I am being so serious when I say I do not know if this is supposed to be funny, like if it's supposed to be like tongue in cheek, or if this is serious, like a serious movie and propaganda. I don't know if we're supposed to laugh here or if it's real. And so let me preface this with, they're probably gonna hit me for showing their trailer, even though they've shown my trailer. When I did the Erica series, they showed the trailer and Ben commented on it, but they're gonna be petty. They'll probably sue me for showing the trailer in the real spirit of Daily Wire. But this is the tweet that accompanied it. Ben tweeted, "The threat of radical Islam is real. Hollywood has refused to tell that story for 3 decades. What? It's like, were you dead for the last 3 decades? What are you talking about? The #1 show on HBO was Homeland. Like, I don't even know, like, what does he mean? They refuse to tell the story. I feel like all we've gotten hit with since 9/11 has been propaganda against Muslims. Okay. They refuse to tell the story for 3 decades. Okay, he continues. Now we're saying the thing with the biggest, most audacious, funniest, and most kick-ass film the Daily Wire has ever released. Here is the trailer. Again, I can't tell if this is meant to be a parody or real life. Take a listen.
Ваша країна не варта нічого.
Ми, що любимо і служимо Аллаху, дали відсіч американцям і сіоністам від лиха світськості та земель невір'я.
Хтось збирається слухати капітана Сондерса завтра. Боєць.
Oh, I'm sorry. They have to switch that and pull that again. Can you pull that? Can you play it straight from his X feed? Let's just do that. Sorry, I mean, just realized that was for some reason downloaded and it sounded like Spanish or something like that. But we have to see this trailer. Just let me know when that's pulled up, because I was very confused by it. Here we go.
Fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tonight? The retired Delta Force soldier with an info cap?
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus? Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Freeman. This is a decision I cannot flatter.
There are 3 ways Islam will conquer the West. Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us. Are you paying attention? Listen carefully. The great Satan, America, will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure and men's souls are unclean. What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next. Listen to me! In the law. We cannot run or hide from what is coming. We have to fight. I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing. What am I to find out? That's the American way.
I don't know if we're just growing up and the propaganda just isn't slapping the same. Like if we saw this in like 2001, we'd be like, oh my gosh, yes, no, that's crazy. Like, do they know we know like about the CIA and Israel funding Al Qaeda, funding Al Nusra, the Mossad motto, you know, that they're going to conquer the world through deception? Do they know that we know that Israel's behind all of this radical? I don't know. It's a little too on the nose. It's a little too on the nose. They are going to conquer you through the wounds of their women. Like, who's writing this stuff? It's just, leave it as it is. It's a promo for the trailer. Reminder, just as they are chomping at the bit for war with Iran and telling you, you know what you should do? You should learn to cook a burrito, and go also see this film and understand that the reason why you have to make those sacrifices is because if you don't, you're gonna have to, you can't run, you can't hide, you're gonna have to fight radical Islam. So your options are, you gotta eat burritos at home, learn to cook, and recognize that the threat here is Islam. It's not Zionism. Made very clear by that trailer. Anyway, I just wanted to also show you guys this clip, which I think is fantastic. Rabbi Shmuley, who is just one of the grossest representatives of what the Zionist lobby is, constantly harassing people, threatening lawsuits. For some reason, he's in Iceland, and that's not subtle, by the way. at all. He's like, I wouldn't suspect he's up there vacationing. It's just like a parasite in Iceland. Look out for that. If anything happens in Iceland, like just know Rabbi Shmuley was here. But he came across this couple that was on the streets, and they basically said F Israel, and he tried to do his usual victim bit, and he said, they told him to his face, like, the guy here just had big Viking energy, and told him to get out of his country. I love this. More of this when it comes to genocidal murderers. They should get out of your country. It's a good sign when you see a parasite in your country. And here is the video that Rabbi Shmuley posted in like the greatest cell phone. Take a look at this.
So 1 second, hold on. You just made me hang up on my attorney. I told you it was on the phone. I told you I didn't want to interrupt, and you said you just wanted to send my Shmuley. You said that you're a big fan. You lied through your teeth, and then you said Israel. Why would you do that? I'm an American. I'm a visitor here. Now you're pretending you don't speak English? Listen, this is going to go out to the whole world. I was sitting on a call with my attorney. Very important call. I could not have been more pleasant to you or your girlfriend. Both of you walked up together and you said, are you Rabbi Shmuley Mendy? And I said, yes. Then you said, I'm a big fan. Can I do a video? I said, I'm on a call. I begged you to wait.
I'm sorry.
Just for you to tell me do you hate Jews that much?
I'm sorry, my
Do you
friend.
hate Jews that much?
Welcome to Iceland, my friend.
And then?
I'm sorry, my friend. I don't
Tell
know.
what happened.
He said, I'm a huge fan, I'm a huge fan, and he just walked up to me and said, Israel.
All right, guys. Welcome to
I was
Iceland.
sick of hearing
Yeah.
someone telling you
All
about
right.
fans, you could curse them out.
Yeah.
That is so screwed up.
Yeah. You want me to tell the
Who
world?
even thinks that a way to do things?
You want me to tell the world? Israel.
Say it. Say it.
No, let him say it.
Yeah.
What about, wait, no. Say what you said. Israel.
I want to tell Israel. There's no genocide going on.
There's nothing to do with that, you know it.
Let him speak.
History will not favor the genocide that you are behind.
Yeah, he's right. Like, have some courage. Like, what is this? And why is he trying to make it seem like this is like a conversation about Jews? No, he's talking about Israel. We are recognizing that you committed a genocide in broad daylight. We are recognizing that you are simultaneously trying to spread that cancer across Spain and punish them for having the courage to say that you can't commit a genocide in broad daylight. Now you're trying to threaten him and, you can't say that to me because, like, I'm Jewish. Or no, he's saying that you're not allowed to mass murder women and children and innocent people and play Hunger Games with their lives, as the Gaza Humanitarian Fund did, and expect that people are going to see you in their countries and applaud you. So yeah, I'm glad to see this big Viking energy. And again, I don't suspect he was there talking to his lawyer on the phone on vacation. I think this person is right to acknowledge that he's here and know what the history of Rabbi Shmuley is and the activities that he has been involved in. It's no good. I don't know how any person outside of somebody who worships Satan could support what Israel is doing around the world, but that's my opinion. Anyway, we'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, my husband recently got back from his Catholic pilgrimage in Spain, and apparently the Paleo Valley beef sticks became the unofficial snack of the trip. He packed them for himself, started handing them out to people along the journey, and before long, everyone was asking for one. It actually became a running joke because wherever he went, the beef sticks seemed to follow. Honestly, I'm not surprised. They're one of those snacks that don't make you choose between healthy and delicious. Paleo Valley uses 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef, sourced from American. But let's be honest, the reason that we keep buying them is because of the flavor. The original is plastic, but the jalapeno is my favorite because it has just the right amount of kick. And the teriyaki has the perfect amount of sweetness. They're savory, satisfying, and actually taste like real food. I always keep a few of them in my bag, my car, even in my carry-on, because someone in my family is always hungry and looking for a snack, and clearly my husband does the same. So if you're looking for a clean, convenient protein snack that tastes and sounds, check out Paleo Valley beef sticks. Once you try them, you will probably start keeping a stash in your bag as well. Right now, get 20% off your first order at paleovalley.com and use code Candace at checkout. That's paleovalley.com with promo code Candace at checkout. I also want to remind you guys about American financing because it is no secret that everything is starting to feel a lot more expensive. If your daily essentials are ending up on a credit card, those double-digit interest rates are quietly draining your bank account. If that debt is starting to feel heavy, you should know that you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you've likely looked at your mortgage rate and thought, I shouldn't touch that. But American Financing offers a smart equity loan so that you don't have to. It allows you to wipe out high interest debt and lower your monthly overhead while keeping your primary mortgage intact. It's a surgical strike against debt. Unlike a fluctuating HELOC, the Smart Equity Loan is a fixed rate loan, giving you a predictable monthly payment. At American Financing, there are never any upfront fees to find out what you qualify for, so talk to a salary-based consultant today. These experts who are paid to help you save, not to sell you more than you need, can help you if you call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210, or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. Again, that's americanfinancing.net/Owens. Okay, top comment from yesterday's episode. This person, Dan, writes, they are yanking on your pocket and banking on your faith. TPUSA's new business model in a nutshell. Yes, absolutely. And also, like I said, colluding with terrible human beings and trying to convince us this is the same company, the same organization that Charlie was at the helm of. It's absolutely not. They play nasty. They don't believe in anything. They have not expressed anything that Charlie has expressed or followed his rules of decency. Follower of Christ for Life writes, most common place Satan shows up according to scripture is in false religion. Remember, he disguises himself as an angel of light. Again, I would file that under, are we just more aware of the propaganda, or has it gotten more extreme? Because I look at these things and it's like, guys, no one's buying this. Why are you continuing to do it? People can see this faith grift, and yet they continue. Chewing the Void writes, the fact that, quote, how did you cut a cat's head off at 3 is a legitimate follow-up question to Erica's pastor in 2026 is somehow still less weird than the fact that Erica's inner circle includes a man who has to explain toddler cat beheading logistics on national television. Exactly. So well said. There's just so much weirdness that follows her. And again, they just keep kind of using this cloud of faith to go, well, you can't question it because every sentence she says the Lord. She can't get a sentence out without saying the Lord. So that must mean that she's holy. I reject that notion. Today's episode, 7 Sheets writes, every tax from Americans should go directly to Americans. It's not complicated. If they want war, then ask their bosses. Us. Enough. Our vets, our citizens, our children. God bless. Could not agree more. So well said. Your girl Corinne writes, I know you're busy, but I'd love to know your thoughts on the Lindsay Clancy case in Massachusetts. I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty. She was put into an intentional psychosis when she probably just needed to give her kids away for a weekend to get better, but they constantly give you these drugs that do not make things better. And the cocktail of 10 pharmaceuticals that she was on is absolute madness. Absolute madness. Atlas VBM writes in episode 231, I asked you to give my little sister Valentina a shout out. I never mentioned her birthday, yet you wished her a happy birthday anyway. You could do us the honor for her 21st birthday. It would mean a lot to her. Lots of love from Austria for the Prego. Absolutely happy birthday, Valentina. I hope that it is a good one. I actually have not spent much time in Austria. I feel like I'm always laying over to get to Germany, but it looks like a beautiful country, and I would love to spend more time there and actually see it. It's on my list to spend some time there. Happy birthday. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. I don't know if that means you can do whatever you want or the opposite, but we'll see. Kai writes, you are glowing, your hair is growing and shining, you're beautiful. I don't know how you keep fighting and still maintain your spiritual and mental health. I'm not cut out for it. You are. I love you, Candace. P.S. Andrew Wilson is a misogynist, oink. You know, I think he's now a feminist. Who knows? We're going to find out, apparently. He wants this debate real bad. He's got 300. He's like financially responsible as well, like in general. Like, where are you getting 300K? Do you have children, it sounds like? I don't know. I don't really know anything about his background other than what that young woman shared. It sounds like you have kids. Like, put it in a trust fund for them or something. I don't know. But whatever. I'm a taker. I'll take it. No problem, bud. I will bring it up to 500K because it's turning point, and they can. The amount of money they're spending on these influencers right now. Diva Mom writes, doesn't everyone know that when someone is shifting their emotions as aimlessly as Turning Point USA is a clear indication of their guilt? Asking for a friend, go Max, Jesus is king. Yeah, they couldn't possibly look more guilty in this moment. I mean, just the bizarre people that they are boosting. Many of them in that chat of 92 influencers, the defenders of Erica Kirk. Also, it was hilarious that Paramount Not So Tactical was like one of the only men in that chat. He's so feminine in so many ways. He just wants to be one of the girls, you know? He wants to gossip with the girls. We get it. FS Claire writes, Andrew Wilson does not want to debate. He wants to trap you into a defamation or a libel claim. He also doesn't want to engage with the information. He wants to pull you into a meta conversation about logic. This is a trap 100%. Well, it's a trap I'm willing to walk into. It's about that time of my pregnancy. I'm willing to sit down with him and walk into, I guess, a meta conversation about logic. If the best he's got is insulting people and chain smoking, yeah. I have been studying this case backward and forward since it began. I'm pretty confident, and it doesn't exactly intimidate me with screaming across the table. I don't find that to be proof that you're a tough guy, denigrating a girl across because you actually called her a name first, as we all saw. You were the person who stepped out and decided to name call, and she introduced, I suppose, a fact that you didn't like, and you flew off the handle. Okay. What are you? Are you a traditional, or are you? We're learning about who he is in the meantime. Legit Trucking writes, Candace, I want you to talk about the girl from Burger King who said free Palestine and got fired for hate speech. I know nothing about that story, so I can't talk about it right now. But that seems insane. That just absolutely seems insane, especially in this moment when everyone is recognizing that free Palestine is the correct perspective to have. That is the only moral perspective to have is to free Palestine. Punked writes, all right, you guys, I tell my sis all the time that Candace is like Batman. FYI, Batman is considered the world's greatest detective. Does anyone else think that Tyler Robinson's defense team should be watching every episode? They certainly should. They certainly should. And like I said, do not forget that person is putting that phone in their left hand. I find it amazing how they seem to be releasing intentionally degraded footage. Why not? If you're saying that the influencers could see the exact same footage but in 4K, why is it just always in 4K? Does that make any sense to you? Why would it not just always be in 4K? Why do you have to show the 20 minutes of footage and the clips put together in like degraded footage and then suddenly go, oh, but we also have this, which is brought up and clearer. Just show the clearer footage. Oh, because one is supposed to be for the public and it's supposed to be so that we can't put pieces together like that, realizing that that's a phone that is going into his pocket. Anyway, we will certainly be releasing more footage in the near future. And yeah, that's why they're screaming for me to be raided by the FBI, because I just say, more power to the people. If it's so overwhelming, let us be overwhelmed by that tidal wave of evidence that they keep promising and which never emerges. You guys already know what I'm going to say. If you would like to support the show, head to CandaceOwens.com, buy some merch. I'm wearing my Emmanuel Macron, why are you gay shirts. We never get an answer to that question. You already know how I feel about Brigitte right now in this moment. Sniffer pooch, pooch sniffer. I should have known, Brigitte. I should have known it was you. You can buy a Stop Anti-Cancerism cup. It's the most appropriate thing to buy, given this group chat that we have landed upon that is together for posting my address. It's an extreme form of anti-Cancerism. And I do think that there should be textbooks and courses taught about this. I'm happy to tour schools and speak about anti-Cancerism and why it needs to be stopped before it spreads. Anyway, we'll see if that happens. We will see you guys on Monday. love my curls, but all the curly rules,
The only 12-step curl routine.
not so much. That's why Aussie made Ultra Wonder. Curl care that combines treatments and stylers into magical multitaskers. Fewer products, less steps, incredible curls. Aussie Ultra Wonder.
Right now we are in the belly of the beast. I'm between these two cart bonfires and it is literally hundreds of degrees. We can only stand to be here for a few seconds because the flame is so intense. I don't know how these workers do it, but they do night after night, roasting up to 500 fish in a single night. I'm not sure how they get through the day. I hope they have good health insurance. I have a feeling they don't have any insurance.
Iraq is a hidden food paradise that's remained a mystery to the West for years.
When I tell my mom I'm going to Iraq, she's not like, oh, sounds amazing. She's like, why?
That was,
oh my gosh,
until now. In this Iraq food marathon, we're diving into the boldest dishes this country has to offer an open-minded American tourist like me.
Is he gonna put the whole animal on the platter?
Yeah.
This isn't art.
Starting in the heartbeat of this country, Baghdad. Here, we'll take on street food icons you can't find anywhere else.
I've seen so many videos of people trying this in Iraq already, and now it's my chance.
Next, we're going remote, driving deep into Iraq's marshlands, where we'll encounter a once-in-a-generation meal.
This is the same setup, the same type of thing we may have seen hundreds of years ago.
Yes, it takes us back in history from the first and oldest civilization in the world.
From the marshes, we'll head north to the highlands. This is Iraqi Kurdistan, where you'll find some of the most extreme food in the Middle East.
What's that, brother?
But first, our journey unfolds in the nation's capital.
Wow, that's so good.
In the country that by all means should hate Americans.
Do Iraqis hate Americans?
I'll find out soon. But first, breakfast.
This is how Baghdad wakes up. Guy and Gamma.
Kahi and Gamar. And it seems like the food that you'll find around here, this is the food of the common man. This is the food that's afforded by everybody.
Yeah.
Joining me this morning, Osama, a local tour operator. The cheapest dish of the day comes down to two things. First, kahi, a flaky pastry made of wheat flour. It gets oiled up, then stretched and stretched again. Once paper thin, it's folded over on itself and sent to the oven. The result is crispy, flaky, and satisfying. But by itself, well, something's missing. That's where Gamar comes in. A thick clotted cream made fresh from the milk of a buffalo.
We tell century that there is a book called Kabir. In that book, Kahi and Gamma has been mentioned everything, the ingredients and everything, but not like compared to the other countries. They made it from cows milk. But this one is from Bangalore. They expected thousands and thousands of years.
Then comes the final touch, a sprinkle of crushed pistachios and a side of date syrup to bring it all together.
Step one, you can just pour, that syrup, a little, not that much, and take a piece of Gamma.
Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering.
Craving.
How is that breakfast? That's dessert. In my country, we love to have breakfast that consists of stacks of pancakes, waffles, whipped cream, so this aligns well with that. I mean, there's a nice crispy, flaky pastry, a dusting of pistachio on top. Obviously, this sweet, hot syrup is what ties it all together, but that cream, it tastes like a dense whipped cream. For me, I'm a huge whipped cream fan. I mean, I will go to Starbucks and just order a cup of whipped cream, and so this is like heaven for me.
Is it your first time to try the Buffalo's coffee cream?
It might be.
You tried it like in Mongolia, right?
Yeah, but when you're in Mongolia, who knows what you're drinking or eating? I could have eaten horse cream for all I know.
Osama was born in southern Iraq, but he's been building a life here in Baghdad since 1996.
With someone like me, even though I'm 41, when I tell my mom I'm going to Iraq, she's not like, oh, sounds amazing, have fun. She's like, why? Did you have to? So the question now is it safe in Baghdad?
It is safe. Because Iraq has suffered from the last 4 decades, Iran-Iraq wars, American injection, 2003, and then the Syrian war, and then ISIS. And here we are, 2019, until now it's totally safe, for me as a local and for you as a foreigner.
The rest of the world doesn't seem to know that. How long does it take the rest of the world to catch up?
We cannot predict, maybe 10 years, 5 years. We don't know. We're still working on it.
The Iraq of today is far different from what the U.S. military left behind in 2011. But buildings are easier to rebuild than people. So these days, do Iraqi people hate Americans? By the end of this journey, I plan to find out.
When you're touring people around Iraq or Baghdad, what are they most surprised by?
The food, obviously. They're surprised that it's great.
Okay, that's a good surprise.
It is. A lot of people people really love our food.
Meet Fajer, guide, student, and my culinary ambassador for this meal.
This is a dish known as kahi. Why don't you say it?
Tashreed.
Tashreed.
Yes.
It starts where everything good starts. Chopped onions, bell peppers, bay leaves hitting hot oil. Then black dried limes go in, and cardamom pods crack open in the heat.
These are dried limes. They're a very important part of this dish.
A dried black lime. Why is it black?
It was very dry.
Is that how it works? If anything gets dry enough, it turns black?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm not sure either.
Chicken drops in next. Turmeric, curry powder, cumin. Then potatoes and chickpeas.
To me, I feel like I've seen something similar before, and perhaps I even saw something similar when I was in Iran. I mean, what we have here is kind of stock, bread, chicken. It seems like a clever way to recycle old bread or bread that's gone kind of stale.
Absolutely.
And so it gets rehydrated and it's given new life.
This is the thing. The literal meaning of tashreed is infusion, or like to drink. Calling it tashreed is just the bread drinking the broth.
I like that. That's like poetry. We have the bread, we have the broth, and we have the chicken. We have no utensils.
No.
Explain. Is it okay to use the left hand? Like, what's it like?
Yes, so you mainly go in with your right hand, because that's a more religious aspect of it. But you're not going to get punished for starting with your left hand. It's okay.
Thank God. Oh my God, that's incredible. How do I describe that? I mean, first of all, the bread is completely saturated. It really soaks up all the flavors of that stock. It's an incredible, deep, savory flavor. So I imagine adding a little bit of sourness makes it even more dynamic.
Exactly.
But my favorite part is peeling off that chicken. The chicken is so soft. The food so far is winning me